Good day. This will be the introduction to the gradebook in the LMS resource guide. And the following videos, if you're new to the gradebook, I will encourage you to watch each of them. They're relatively short, but they'll explain some of the functionality. Now, some of the look and some of the buttons essentially have changed us a bit. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show some of the changes. And then if you see later on in these videos that some of them don't align, this will be showing you just the important changes that you would need to in order to follow that. First thing I'll just show you how to do is get to the gradebook. It's the same as before. You can either go to the dashboard, which is at the bottom on the left-hand side, or you can go up here and you can click Gradebook. Now, this is just going to take you into the setup, it says, but really each way into the gradebook will show you all the functions of the gradebook itself when you get in there. So this is an easy way to get there. So I go ahead and I hit Gradebook Setup. With that said, right now you can see that on this side it doesn't look like this is a mouse over, but it is, because if I click this, it gives me the drop down of all of these functions that you're going to see described later in the video. Likewise, if I'm in the gradebook, this won't show up if I'm not in the gradebook, but if in the gradebook itself and I click the settings tab up here, then you'll see I get the same kind of setup here. And if I click into these, I will get some more options. Every time you see a chevron, this little V on the left, that means it's a drop down and there's some other choices there. So you can operate the gradebook really from this space, or you can go to the other spaces themselves by going over here. Right now we are in setup. So that's one thing. Another thing I'll point out that has changed is you're going to see later in these tutorials, add grade item and add category are available at the bottom. Now they are no longer at the bottom. Another thing I'd like to mention when it comes to add grade item and add category buttons. If you're new to the gradebook, you don't have to put add grade item if you're going to add like a quiz later. The quiz itself will populate in the gradebook setup, by which I mean if you're in the LMS, I'm here on LMS page, I want to add an activity or resource. If I choose an activity or a resource that automatically has a grade associated with it, say an assignment or a quiz, and I click that, I'll set that up. An instance of this quiz will automatically populate the gradebook. I've had new faculty before who felt they needed to add a grade item for every one of those they made, and that's not something you have to do. Once you create a grade item within the LMS, it will populate an instance in the gradebook. The only time you're going to add a grade item is if you have something manual. Say that you're an art instructor and you're walking around and you're giving them progress reports. You would have that in a piece of paper, and then you would manually put those in the LMS gradebook later, if that makes sense. And then what you have to do is make sure it's in the right category. However, to add categories and to move those around, you would just hit Add Category, which is shown in one of the later tutorials. You can also move the categories themselves around. And to move the whole category so that it lines up correctly in your spreadsheet, then you can just click this little arrow here, this up and down arrow. I want to move this category to the very top. I click that arrow there, and now what it's done is it's showing me the entire course. Now, this is above this category. This green strip is part of a category, so I'm going to move that entire category to this area. And then I click it, and it will take a moment. And then what will happen is that we'll have moved that entire category somewhere else. So once you've organized your gradebook, that things are in the category where you'd like them, you can move the entire category around. Now, if I want to move just a single item from one area to another, say I see this should be in this category there. It was put in accidentally there. So if I click this up-down arrow, then what will happen is it will give me that same little breakout where all of a sudden, after waiting a moment, I'll see all these empty spaces where I can click in to put those. So it's gone to the top, but I come down here where I want that to be, and I'm going to click right here. Now, this is inside that bracket, and it says recalculating grades, which we'll do consistently. And now I go back to it, and sure enough, all of these are in the right place, and that was moved from here to there. Now, if I wanted to move things into a different category, and maybe several of them at once, there's another quick way to do that I want to show you, because this is really a time saver if you have to reorganize your gradebook. Say I want to have these items here all moved to the category that I call unweighted. And that category is right there. So this is my no weight items. It's called 0. And then I come down to the bottom after those have been selected, and look what it gives me. It gives me a chance to batch move things. Move the selected items to, and it'll give me my other categories. So I'm going to go ahead and go to no weight items. And now what will have happened is those 4 items have all been moved into another category. So that's a fairly rapid way to batch move items. With that said, if you go through the balance of these, then they should be easy to follow, and do have a good day.